Can I sniff it? I am Thundercat. We're at the V&A, and this is Unexpected Item.
We're going to show you 4 sets of items from the museum's collection. We've chosen them to explore different aspects of your creative process.
Sick.
And this is a selection of British, American, and Japanese comics from the 60s to the 90s.
Pino. Ah, yes, Robin getting kicked in the face. Ooh, Kamen Rider. That's awesome. Japan's had a knack for like those giant monsters, giant robo and things like that, and Kamen Rider is like this bug. Marvel Comics. I said comics, not movies, comics. Everybody goes, are you excited about the movies? I go, legendary cover right here. Superheroes versus the supervillains. I think this is the first appearance of the Shocker. This is beautiful, man. Pieces of history. This came with the Frisbee. What is this? That's like a newspaper? That's crazy. This era of comics was so spectacular. The X-Men, as you can see, are still one of the more important moments that have happened in American history, I think. Fantastic Four, the nuclear family was the message of that. Coming out of the 40s, the Great Depression and war, these things were the things that helped build America again. They still are some of the most important pieces of artwork in American history. Some of my favorite characters would be like Silver Surfer, Dr. Doom. Villainy for the sake of villainy was like funny. The day Charles Xavier fell in love with Lilandra. This was very defining in mutant history. You know, when 2 telepaths decide to make love. Quest for the magical crystal. Amazing artwork. The Thundercat was one of my favorite cartoons when I was younger. I had this epiphany recently. Basically, the whole entire cartoon to me is like Lionel's an orange cat. Just out the gate, that's the dumbest thing on the planet. I don't need to go into the orange cat explanation, but they're crazy. Genetically, So Lionel's the orange cat. Every episode is him getting like in trouble or like getting stuck somewhere. And then the sword is like a red laser pointer. And basically all the cats get interested in the red laser pointer and chase the laser. And that's basically the show. Like, that is the Thundercat show. I had the Sword of Omens as a toy when I was a kid. And I played with it till I broke it. And then it got replaced with a toy guitar.
So these are 2 instruments that were owned by David Bowie.
Love you, David.
This is a Suzuki Q-Chord digital guitar made in 2000.
Sick.
And this is a Steinberger bass made in the 80s.
It's a beautiful instrument, and even in this color, of course this would be David Bowie's. This is absolutely amazing.
It was played by David Bowie and Tony Visconti on Blackstar.
Oh, wow, yeah. Wow. And they busted out the old Steinberger, Diamond Dogs. I love that album. Also, Aladdin Sane. Those 2 albums for me were like definitive to my growth process. Contrary to said beliefs of how I play 6-string, I mean, of course I played 4-string.
How old were you when you started playing?
From what I can remember, I had to be about 4 or 5. Anytime I say something like that too, somebody goes, yeah, right, buddy. And then I start pulling up the childhood photos, and it's just kind of like, left to my own vices, it was either a sword or the bass.
So this on your right is a jumper designed by Ray Kawakubo for Comme des Garçons from 1982.
This looks like a few things in my closet.
And this is a handbag designed by NeKO in 2005.
What would I put inside my bag? Maybe a taser, Sonic the Hedgehog's first appearance in comics. Big fan of Comme. And recently we did a collaboration together. This is freaking awesome, man. I do think fashion and music go hand in hand. Everything is a chance to express yourself. And I grew up in a very creative household. My mom has purple hair, kind of like, of course my mom has purple hair. I think I picked up on sense of style very early on to Parliament and Commodores to like Janet Jackson to Prince, Miles Davis, Bowie. You go like, good Lord. Even the part where everybody swore that everybody was supposed to wear suits when you play jazz. Like when you think of a jazz musician, you think, oh, a suit, boo. Suits can be nice. But no, that was their personal style. That set the tone and pace for things. And I just knew it was like, okay, take it serious. Just as serious as you take the music. There's, echoes of moments like that, even when it comes to like Playboi Carti or Lil Uzi. And it's like, you see them and they're just kind of like, they're very rogue about how they show up with what they do, which makes it really nice to see.
Can I sniff it?
So this is a selection of Star Wars toys from the 1980s and 90s.
I think it's pretty awesome. Yeah, I was in Star Wars. Yeah, best moment ever. It started out with Jon Favreau reaching out, and I just told him to look up my photos of me at my first Grammys acceptance speech, and I was wearing a lightsaber. I almost didn't go to the Grammys because they tried to take my lightsaber. It's like carrying a mini baseball bat onto a plane, I'm pretty sure. It was extremely threatening. But it was one of 700 of the Return of the Jedi lightsabers. Luke's, when it switched from blue to green, and signed by the creator. When I told Jon Favreau that, he was like, okay, that's enough, dork. One of the greatest moments in my life. We would sit and jam on the set, like in between takes. Also, even getting a chance to compose with Ludwig van Göransson. I would get calls from my friends going like, man, I was kind of watching the show and then I heard the music first and I was like, sounds like Thundercat playing. And then there was like this moment and reveal of me in the cantina of sorts. Good old Vader, Anakin. There's a song on my new album actually called Anakin Learns His Fate. Another huge fan of Star Wars is Big Sean. Got a chance to work on Big Sean's last album with a song called Black Void. While we were making the song, we were watching Revenge of the Sith. It was kind of interesting watching Anakin's descent into madness, the Gaslight King. It's like, by the end of it, he's crashing out and then he's just, sitting there looking like a taco or a burrito of sorts. Yes, let the hate flow through you. Ah, yes. Thunderbirds. My dad would always try to get me into Thunderbirds, and I was like, wow, this is the worst thing in the world. Marionette puppets. This is beautiful, This reminds me of my dad. But I never asked him what he thought about Team America World Police, because,